I absolutely love Motivation Mondays because it's our chance to learn to motivate ourselves going into the week. This month, we started the series on building the future. And today, we're going to look at the role goals play when it comes to shaping or building your future. We've been joined by the CEO of Boabing Communications, the man Jeremiah Boabing. Boss man, good morning.
Good morning, Jake.
You're looking good.
Thank you. Don't look bad yourself.
Thank you. So last week we started the conversation on building the future. We learned a lot. The fact that a lot of the future is in our hands and we can shape it.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about goals. What is a goal and what role does that play in building the future?
Well, so a goal in basic terms is a dream with a deadline. Now, one of the reasons
a dream
why...
with a deadline.
The deadline.
Okay.
One of the reasons why everybody has a dream, everybody has a desire. There's something that people want to become. Somebody says, I want to be a nurse. Someone says, I want to be an entrepreneur. Somebody says, I want to be a TV presenter. But what really brings ignition, what brings fuel to that dream is to turn it into a goal, to give it a deadline. It means that you give it a timeline or a time frame within which it must be achieved. So if you ask me to actually define a goal, the definition I'll give to a goal is a specific target that is engraved on your heart and inscribed on your mind. So it means that it shouldn't just be something that you would like to, that you wish you can become, but it must become an obsession. It must be in your heart. It must be something that you are burning to achieve, burning to become, and it must be constantly on your mind. So any target for the future that is in your heart, that is always on your mind, is a goal.
Now, Mr. Boabing, there are people watching us right now, and there are times that you have people tell you, you've set unrealistic goals. Some of these, your goals, it's not achievable. Some of these things, it's not realistic enough. When we are setting goals, how far should we think about these goals?
Well, you see, a lot of people in life give their opinion about your aspirations based on their abilities and what they are capable of doing. So people who give you opinions that your goal may be unrealistic, a goal may be unachievable, are saying that based on their own experience or their estimation of your abilities. But you also know yourself. You know what you feel strong about. You know what you want to become. So the goal that you set for life should never be based on somebody's opinion. It should be based on your conviction, how you understand life, how you understand yourself, who you believe you have been made to become, what your gifts and abilities are. And let's face it, if you set a goal and you don't achieve it, who will catch you? Who arrests you? So make the effort, set the goal, go for it. If it doesn't happen, there's no law in Ghana that bans people from not achieving their goals. So just push yourself and reach for it.
I like the fact that you say there's nothing wrong if you fail to achieve the goal. That I feel is inspiration. That would take away the fear of setting goals, because a lot of people's fear is, hey, what if I'm not able to achieve it? There's nothing wrong if you fail. And a lot of these rich men or these billionaires, the Bill Gates, they've failed before. They've all failed. But let's talk about why some people end up not being able to achieve their goals. Was the goal that they set too far to reach? Did they set the time too short? Why do people not have the ability to always reach their goals?
Yeah, Jake, there's a difference between not reaching your goals at all and a difference between making a considerable progress towards it. But for most people, for the people that you're talking about in this category, are those who actually never experienced the goal in any form or dimension. And there's a reason why people don't achieve their goals in that regard. First of all, for most people, their goals are not written down. They have no written down goals. Because if something is just on your mind, oh, I would like to be rich. I would like to become this. It's not a goal. So first of all, the goal must be written down.
When you say written down, are you talking about literally write it?
Yeah, write it down. The goal must be written down. So it must be written down in either your tablets, your diary, your notebook, or even pasted on your wall. When I set a goal to become a motivational speaker, I made it an obsession. If you entered my room, I had a photo of Albert Okran, Emmanuel Day to me, Professor Stephen Ade, Kofi Addison, all those people who used to be kingpins of motivation in Ghana. I had their photos in my room, always communicating to me what I was aspiring to become. So I kept the goal in front of me. You don't just set a goal and tuck it somewhere away and say that I've set a goal. No, it must be on your mind. It must become an obsession, something that you are reaching for every single day of your life. So that's one reason. But another reason why people don't achieve their goals is because when they set the goal, they don't develop a strategy. Because goals don't operate on autopilot. Goals don't achieve themselves. When you decide that you want to become something, you must deliberately deduce strategies, deduce pathways, deduce action plans that will help you to achieve the goal. So you say you want to become a millionaire at 40. You want to start a business. You want to start a ministry. How are you going to do that? So going the extra mile to identify strategies, relationships, trainings, skills that you must acquire to achieve the goal makes the possibility of the goal happening more real to you, because you know how you're going to get there. When I left secondary school in 2006 with a clear ambition to become a motivational speaker, I knew that if I was going to become a motivational speaker, I needed a lot of knowledge base. I identified that. I developed an action plan that spelled out all the things that I needed to do to achieve the goal. So that's the stage that most people never get to. They just identify a target, but they don't identify the pathway to the target. Then also close to that is that it's possible to actually identify a target, identify the pathway, but not make the choices that takes you there. So yesterday,
by choices, what are we talking about?
I was speaking with a friend of mine that I consult for in a business advisory capacity, and he's been trying to build a school. And because of that, he's made some really crazy choices, spending the last of his money to buy a plot, buy a car that he can use to transport his school children. And that's how to live life. When you set a goal, it means that you should be willing to give up something for the goal. In life, you give up to go up. For everything you want to become in life, there must be something that you are willing to give up for that thing. So you don't have a degree, you want to get a degree. You may have to give up your weekends or your evenings going to school to get the degree. You want to master a skill, you may have to give up something. You want to lose weight, you must have to give up something. So everybody must look within themselves, within their lives, and identify the things they must give up to become who they want to be. I run a business. I wanted to take my business to a particular level. A lot of people felt that that was unrealistic. I should take my time, relax. But I understood what I wanted to achieve and what I had to give up to become it. So there are a lot of luxuries that a lot of younger entrepreneurs afford themselves. I don't afford myself those things because I know what the priority is. The challenge for a lot of people in life is that they like to appear successful, not even be successful. So don't push yourself. Focus on the things that really matter. Focus on your core priorities. Don't be in a hurry to have a semblance of success without a substance of it.
Mr. Boabing, you've mentioned 3 things. And from what I've gathered, number 1, when I set my goal, I should write it down.
Write it down.
And it should be in my face. Every morning when I wake up, I want to see this goal on my laptop, on my phone, on my PC. It should be in my face.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have to set a target, a structure that will help me achieve this, and also make the right choices. Be willing to give up something to gain something.
Let me add another one to it.
Add another one.
There must be regular monitoring and evaluation. Because if you set a goal to achieve 100,000 cedis for your business in a particular year, and you leave it on autopilot, there is no weekly assessment, monthly assessment, quarterly assessment.
So while you are going to achieve the goal, you should be checking.
Exactly.
Where have we reached so far? Okay.
I spend my Sunday evenings doing that. Sunday evenings is my day of strategy. So Sundays, I don't like to go out on Sundays because when I go out, it means that I have to use my Monday mornings to do that.
Yeah.
So strategy, sit down and say, what really were our goals this year? How far have we come towards achieving those goals? What can we do this week to ensure that that goal is achieved? What should we stop doing? What should we continue doing? What should we add on to it? So there must be a certain regular evaluation and monitoring of yourself. Other than that, you never achieve the goal.
Mr. Boabing, should we only be setting goals for work or career, or we should set goals in every aspect of life?
Life must be balanced. Life must be balanced. But in spite of the balance, every season of your life and what is emphasized. So for somebody watching us today, in this season of their life, they are emphasizing education. So the educational goals take a priority over all the other goals. Yeah. In someone's life, this season of their life, they're emphasizing marriage. So their marriage goals should take a priority over everything else. I was talking to somebody a few days ago who was saying that, as for me, my goal was to get married and have my children, and I'll focus on my music ministry. So that was her. The thing about life is that life is a life science. In a life science, there are no hard and fast rules. Everybody decides what they want to prioritize in every season of their lives. But be careful that you don't sacrifice too many things in the bid to achieve other things. So ensure balance. Have a goal for your finances, goal for your career, goal for your business, goal for your ministry, goal for your personal life, goal for your family life. There must be a deliberate goal on your part to build rapport with the people around you, your fiancé, your wife, your brothers, your sisters. You must have goals towards all of those.
Mr. Bobin, the way you are talking, clearly we need a balance. But riddle me this. If I'm setting my goals, should some particular goals take precedence over others?
So
should I be looking at setting financial goals more than dealing with my relationships? Or should I focus on career more than education?
Very good question. Yeah. The answer to that is different for everybody. First of all, goals are determined by vision. Vision is the overall picture of your future, what you want your final life to look like. So when you have the vision, then out of that vision, you break them down into goals. And out of those goals, you get your priorities. Whatever your priorities are at a time should determine what your focus should be in that time. So if at this moment, my goal is to become a pastor, my priorities should be determined by that goal. So I will spend more time doing spiritual activities, spend more time praying, spend more time reading the Bible, spend more time going to church, spend more time ministering to people. Well, it is the goal. So the answer to that question is dependent on what your priority is at that moment. In this instant, what is your number one goal? What are you trying to accomplish? So that should determine what you give your time and your talent and your money to.
Mr. Boabing, there's a young man looking at us right now at home. And like I said, for so many of the youth today, when we finish the university, the first thing we are looking at is application forms, trying to apply to people's job and go and work and help others become rich. I'm home. I'm watching the show now. I see what the goal is. Like I said, some people's future is so blurred because they've not set targets, they've not set goals. I'm watching you now. I need to set goals. What's the first step I should take? Number one.
I think that one of the first things that you should consider if you're in a position like that is to speak to a mentor. If even not a mentor, speak to somebody who is in a higher position than you, who has accomplished what you want to accomplish, and talk with them. Sometimes talking with people enables us to clarify our aspirations. They may not even say exactly what we want to hear, but sometimes people saying what you want, people not saying what you want to hear, helps you really understand what you want to accomplish. So talk to somebody who is more accomplished, somebody who connects with you to get some clarity. Okay. And then also pray. One of the reasons why I emphasize these aspects of goal achievement or achieving success in life is because, let's face it, life is spiritual. We are in life because we were made by a creator, and we are accomplishing goals or purposes or gifts given to us by this creator. So there must be a constant relationship with the creator to receive direction for your life. There is somebody who made you. Why did he make you? Pray about it. I know of no other strategy for gaining clarity of vision other than prayer. So when you pray about it, it becomes clear. Another thing that you can also do to get clarity is, about 10, 15 years ago, one of the things I used to do is I always doing a vision map. So I'll do a map and point to other things that I wanted to do. So motivational speaker, author, entrepreneur. I used to want to be a broadcaster some time ago. Yes. So I'll list all of that. But as I did that, I did it almost weekly, daily, always trying to circle my goals, the things I was aspiring to become. As I did it, the things that I really wanted to be manifested, and the things that I wasn't so passionate about dropped. If you think constantly about your vision, the things that are really yours will catch fire. The things that are not yours will drop. I have thought of becoming a pilot before. It didn't stay on my heart long enough. There are things that I've aspired to be before. I've thought of becoming an engineer before. It didn't stay on my heart long enough. But the things that have constantly engaged my mind, those are the things that I've pursued. And the key to catching fire, being on fire, setting the things that you really want to become on fire, is to pray about it. I know of no other strategy. Pray about your dreams. Pray about your goals. Pray about what you want to become. As you pray about it, it becomes clearer and clearer.
So clearly, when you're setting goals, right, set the ones that you have the passion for, the one that drives you, the one that burns. There's always that thing that burns in your heart. You have this desire. You just can't sleep. Every night you're going to bed, it's all you think about. Set a target, set a time frame. Let's look at the time frame when it comes to goals. How realistic or unrealistic is it when we are looking at time frames?
Again, the first thing I'll say to that is that it's dependent on the individual. It's a prerogative of the individual. However, in general terms, there are different time frames with which you can look at goals. There are goals that can be short term, so a year or two. Goals that can be medium term, so 3 to 5 years. And goals that can be long term, 10 to 15 years or to 20 years. By personal experience, what I've learned is that it's good to set short-term goals. When you are starting the whole journey of goal setting and planning, it's good to set short-term goals. The more you are able to accomplish your short-term goals, the more confidence you get to set long-term, medium to long-term goals, because you've already set short-term goals and have accomplished them. So when you're setting a long-term goal, you do it with confidence. So I would advise anybody who is new to this practice to have a long-term vision of something that they want to become, but to start the journey towards that something with a short-term goal. So within now and the next 6 months, what do I want to accomplish? And never mind the fact that you have already lived 6 months of the year. Goals don't respect to time and dates. They respond to action. So whether we are in December, January, November, if you set a goal to become something, to accomplish something, you will become it.
Mr. Boabin, you're amazing. I believe this is a word to us. Those of us who have not yet set goals, or have set goals and you're like, you know what, maybe, let's say you started this New Year's resolution, 6 months down the line, you're like, you know what, I wasn't able to do this, I wasn't able to do that. It's never too late to set another, goal for yourself. Mr. Boabin, thank you very much. We are definitely going to have you next week to continue our feature when it comes to setting up or building our future. But what are we going to be doing next week?
Next week, we're going to be looking at specific areas and how to approach goals in those areas. So career goals, finance goals, marriage goals. We're going to look at
the various aspects of setting goals. Thank you very much. Mr. Jeremiah Boabin is the CEO of Boabin Communications today. We're looking at setting goals. What is your goal? Set one today before you step out of